Welcome back to podcast. Today, we found a news article that claims more and more Korean women are getting married with Vietnamese men, which is quite surprising. These Vietnamese women, they have a master plan. It can be a match with someone who is like 10 years younger at least. I think there's a problem of Korean men thinking that this is real. Like this is real love. So you're so desperate, you bought a wife and you got scammed. Korean people laugh at you. It's quite sad. We can be very cold sometimes. The article goes, in 2022, marriages between Korean women and Vietnamese men rose by 35% from the previous year, nearly 5 times the overall increase in international marriage. Over the past decade, these marriages have almost tripled, while marriages with men from the US, China, and Canada have declined. Of the 556 Korean women who remarried Vietnamese men in 2022, nearly 87% were originally from Vietnam, having naturalized through marriage to Korean men and later divorced. This trend has raised concerns that some marriages may be motivated mainly by the goal of obtaining South Korean citizenship. Over 300 Korean men reported wives leaving after naturalization last year, and experts say a transactional view of marriage contributes to the issue.
Okay, in the past we thought like the older men are desperate to get married. Nowadays, I think it's quite a bit different.
This is what I think about the trend. It used to be mainly farmers because we only want to stay in Seoul or big cities. So we don't want to be farming. So these poor farmers, there's no women in countryside. The way I remember was that these farmers usually, they started this 매매혼, transactional marriage, purchase marriage. It's like a Korean version of green card marriage. I'm going to call this purchase marriage. That's how I remember. So these Vietnamese women, they are dying to live in Korea. That's why they sacrifice themselves and their family to move to Korea, but usually they got stuck in the countryside, far away from everything. Obviously, they're not happy. Plus, these men, or I read, mostly controlling, they're not really good at relationship. So I read that the divorce rate was quite high. But recent trend is that these Vietnamese women from Vietnam, they have a master plan. They have like a blueprint to find anyone, most likely someone who is fragile, easy to break, easy to control. And they have prepared all acts and the plot. So they're going to stay long enough to get the citizenship. And right after they get it, like a green card marriage, they divorce them. A lot of cases, they already had a boyfriend back in Vietnam. And these men, Vietnamese men, they were waiting for her to get the citizenship and divorce the husband, Korean husband. And then they reunite in Korea. So on paper, the Vietnamese woman is Korean woman. And this Vietnamese guy marries her. So on the paper, it is again international marriage. Actually, it is Vietnamese wife, Vietnamese husband. In the end, they both get the Korean passport. Because a lot of times, Korean husband, they think it's real. In my opinion, it's a little silly because it's, I don't know. I think there's a problem of Korean men thinking that this is real. Like this is real love. And they expect the Vietnamese wife who is 15 years younger, young, fresh, and full of hope. And she's happy with guy in his 50s and being in love with them. I doubt that. Because just like you, Korean man, she's also a person, the same human being, right? Naturally, if the age gap is so huge, unless you're like a super rich, the true love would be very unlikely. I'm not saying everyone is like that, but it's unlikely. That's why it's called 매매혼, purchase marriage. It's transactional. David and I, we talked about this before the shooting, and we figured again, a lot of Korean marriages are also transactional,
Yeah, that's true.
right? It's a little bit different, but it's transactional also. Like men and women, they compare. Like I was compared with other blind date candidates, with the Samsung Hyundai guys, and I was the warm up, all that kind of stuff. Quite transactional. Like you're picking the best product on the shed in the department store. It comes to 선, 소개팅, blind dates. So it's quite transactional. How much money you have, what kind of university you went, how tall are you, how handsome or ugly are you, what kind of car are you driving, what kind of apartment your parents are living in right now. Most likely transactional, more transactional than Western marriage. From what I've seen, I could be wrong, but from what I've seen in my entire life, not just Korean marriages, just Asian marriages are quite transactional. But this is strictly business. So I think only the problem is Korean men thinking that this is real. And when these Vietnamese women betray them, they are surprised, but they shouldn't be surprised. Put yourself in her shoes. Would you love a woman who is like 15 years older when you're 25? I doubt it, right? But it's usually one-sided, and there's a big gap between the culture, what they want, their plans for life. It's unlikely. But I gotta say, I hate what they do. They're using the system, abuse the system of marriage, and screw over Korean men. I don't like that. Also, these Vietnamese women, they are giving a bad name for Vietnamese people in general. There will be discrimination in society if you keep doing this. I recently watched YouTube channel. This guy is not a detective, but he acts like a detective because he has a lot of experience of catching those scammers, the wives. And this is quite terrible. A lot of women, they from Vietnam, they work in the entertainment industry, like a room salon, host bars and stuff like that. Also, some of them used to be prostitutes. So they actually want to continue working, but in Korea.
Oh.
So they pretend to be an innocent wife. So this Korean detective guy of the YouTube channel, he also married. He's very happily married with a Vietnamese lady also. That's why he has a lot of experience. He has a deep understanding of the culture. And when he sees the red flag, he tells people. He became kind of like a consultant. He blames the marriage company a lot because they're in the scamming business together with local Vietnamese women. Obviously, these company people are Koreans. We say when you go overseas, watch out for Koreans, right? We always screw over our own people. So also, it is difficult to make a case. They have like a contract with the local Vietnamese women who wants to live in Korea, but these women are no. I wouldn't call certain group of people bad, but these people usually lie. So I think they're bad, not because they are working in a drinking and an entertainment industry for men or prostitution, but because they lie. I think these women are bad, and Korean people, Korean company, they have a secret contract with these women, and they know the deal. Obviously, these women just want to get the passport and continue their career in a bigger market. I think there's like a big Vietnamese community. From the videos I watched, although I'm not saying everyone is like that, they usually disappear like after 6 months or after a year. Like husband comes home, there's nothing. Some of the things are gone, not everything, but some of the things are gone. So she packs some of the stuff, but not completely. And she doesn't answer the call for many, many weeks. The pattern is that after a few months, when the season changes, they call the husband, I need winter clothes. And then they start talking and they say, I want divorce. I'm not happy because you're abusive, which is a lie usually. You're abusive, or you give me so much pressure in bed. Also lie. Because they all say this because the phone call is usually being recorded. And they want to use that for the case of divorce. So they want to give the tape to the lawyer. And sometimes husbands, they fall into trap. Like they ignore what they say. Hey, but where are you? And they get angry. and it's a perfect trap. Like a husband shouting and okay, so whatever this poor woman is saying sounds true because he doesn't say anything about it because it's so asinine, so far from the truth. He doesn't even answer, and they usually record everything. And because you didn't treat me well, you never gave me a dime. I had to run away. So please submit the paper so I can get the citizenship. After that, I will sign the divorce paper for you. So they make the case. They almost negotiate the term. And that's how they do it. And a lot of Korean husbands, they don't want to deal with this anymore. Like at first, they usually convince them. They try to convince them. They're like, oh, like, but I didn't even know. Like, why didn't you talk to me? Blah, blah, blah. Please come home. Let's talk about this. But these husbands are usually slow because it's a scam. They don't know. And then when they realize, it's usually too late. They sign the paper sometimes. If I sign the paper and you get the citizenship, you'll be better. You can be a good wife again. Some of them say yes. And some men, they don't buy it. But sometimes it works. So they have many tactics. They have many different strategies. Depends on how the husband reacts. But the result is the same. Once they get the citizenship, which is what they ultimately want, and then they disappear. They don't bother the husband anymore. And then they call the pimp or ex-boyfriend, whatever, from Vietnam. They come over, remarry. It's quite terrible. Also, sometimes it's quite easy to track down the wife when they run away because they usually end up in karaoke as a what do you call hostess? Yeah, the serving woman, and who also sleeps with men for money. It's quite easy to track down like one of those karaoke's in Ansan. Yes, it's quite bad from both ways, in my opinion. Korean men shouldn't be this innocent. In other words, it's harsh but stupid. Like put yourself in her shoes once, then you will know.
What do you think? Why the Korean guys decide to get married with Vietnamese women?
I'm not defending them. Obviously, if you're smart, this kind of things will never happen. But again, you make mistake when you're desperate. So I think one is desperation. I am not there, but I can see where they're coming from, the men. You're getting old. You don't really get girlfriend in Korea. And you feel like, sometimes I feel like that too. I am not, I will be never good enough for Korean women. Korean women that I like anyway. And then you think about other options. And then you see the ads of marriage company, the one I spoke to. But again, their standard is also very high. So maybe I am ranked so low. And I joined the company, the marriage company, and I try because I'm ranked so low. I'm old, I don't have money, I'm not very good looking, I'm not tall. All these criteria they have, I am not very highly ranked. Naturally, I will most likely meet someone around my rank. You not being beautiful doesn't mean that you have to meet someone ugly, right? So we all have our types and we all have our preferred style. But I joined this company for how much? Like a 5 million Korean won. It's a lot of money. I invested a lot of money to meet someone I would be interested in. But every time I go out, the girls, it goes both ways. Women too. And then I tried 10 dates, 15 dates. Oh God. Still haven't met anyone. And I spent so much money. What other options? And then, there's a purchase marriage, international marriage. And someone around me tells me, hey, Jed, not me, I'm not into Vietnamese ladies. No disrespect, it's just not my type. Someone says, oh, Jed, there's an option of international marriage. Okay, what is that? And, if you like Vietnamese women, you can be matched with someone who is like 10 years younger at least. And that would speak to some of the men here, right? Like personally, I'm not interested in someone who is 10 years younger anyway. But a lot of men, they think younger the better, right? A lot of them, not just Korean men, men in general. And then they go, what? I tried 15 dates in this Korean marriage company, and I spent like 5 million Korean won, like more than $3,000 in US dollars. And it was terrible. And all these Korean women looked down on me, and they were rude, and they didn't even look at me when we were eating, and they complained about my appearance. Let's say maybe I'm losing hair. They don't like that. I'm not tall enough, under 180. Clearly, whenever I had a date with them, they didn't respect me. And someone tells me, these Vietnamese women, they love old men. But you are so desperate, you don't really see the red flags, right? You have no room to put yourself in their shoes. If you do that one time, I don't think anyone would fall into that trap. Just like the host of that YouTube channel, the detective guy, some are very happily married with nice Vietnamese women, but at the same time, what are the chances? I think it's a slim to none. Very, very, very slim. It's not zero. That's why we have some happily married couple. But again, as the article goes, these women, they come with a plan. So it's quite sad. I think this trend of international marriage with Vietnamese women, it reflects a lot of problems we have. It's not just the men's problem. It goes both ways always. Korean women, Korean men, they judge each other a lot. And as I emphasize, the purchase marriage, transactional marriage, is just not new. Korean person, like Korean man and Korean women, even our marriage is often, not always, it seems very transactional, right? So eventually we got tired. In my opinion, we got tired. I would say I'm not tired, but sometimes I get scared to be judged. But at the same time, let's be honest, I judge some girls too. Yeah. So it always goes both ways. Our standard is so high, but reality is not matching. A lot of people decide to not get married at all. Some men, this is not happening with the Korean women, but some men, they still want family. Yeah, they still want family, and then they lower their standards, which is Vietnamese women. That's also wrong, in my opinion. A lot of Korean people, not just men, not just women, we look down on Southeast Asian people and the country. We already think we are better than them. So from the video clips I watched on YouTube, there's a lot of interviews with Korean guys and Vietnamese women. I felt that a lot of Korean men, they already start their marriage thinking that we are already better than them. Right? That is so wrong. That is so wrong, because if you decided to marry from Southeast Asia or Africa, other parts of Asia, if you decide to marry them, you shouldn't think like that at all. You should start thinking that you are equal. And then you have a real relationship. Thinking that you are equal with your Vietnamese lady, you start to have a real relationship first, and then maybe you will have a good marriage, right? But without our intention, I think a lot of us have this default attitude that Korea is better than pretty much all Southeast Asian countries. That is so wrong. I felt that a lot from the videos I watched on YouTube. Like they stuff like, 그래도 내가 한국 사람이고 재산도 이 정도 있는데 나 정도면 괜찮지 않나? 걔네들한테. They say stuff like that. It's terrible. It's not always about money. It's not always about your passport. International marriage with the Vietnamese people, okay, it is about money. Part of it, yes. It's about citizenship, a passport. Part of it, yes. But marriage is not about all these material things, because that's I think marriage doesn't work like that. We can see by the number of how many divorces we have in Korea. Marriages does not work like that. Transactional marriage does not last long, right?
So those Korean guys get trapped, but sometimes we think they deserve it. 그냥 그래도 싸.
David made a very good point. I read the comments under the news article too. let's say I'm in my 50s and I was desperate. So I joined this purchase marriage company, got a wife from Vietnam, and she betrayed me. Let's say she took some of my money and she's giving me a headache, asking for the divorce, and I have to approve her citizenship. I have to agree so she can get it. There are a lot of conditions to give her that, but one of the things I have to do is sign the agreement. And she's asking for it, and I did, and she got everything from me. Now I'm alone, and I wasted my time, wasted money, and I got hurt. Some people are very cold. The comments were like, "Oh, because you went for purchase marriage with women with Vietnam. I don't feel sorry for you. You deserve to be scammed." I read a lot. I noticed a lot of people judge whoever joins Vietnamese international marriage company and gets scammed. Oh, because you're trying to buy marriage. You deserve it. I don't feel sorry for you. It was quite hurting. Although I'm not interested in Vietnamese marriage, although I haven't been in their place, I haven't been a victim, I feel bad still. So you're so desperate, and then you joined the company and got you bought a wife and you got scammed, and even your own people, Korean people, laugh at you. It's quite sad. We can be very cold sometimes. From the video I watched, some of them are looking for like a decent wife, some of them. But older men in their 50s or mid 50s, late 50s, in my opinion, they seem like they're looking for a young slave they can sleep with. So as I said before, their starting point of the relationship is not equal. For them, the Vietnamese ladies are below them. I'm pretty sure a lot of them are aware of this. That's why they are not looking for a good husband either. So they rather decided to use them to get a passport and start a new life in Korea. As a Korean person, yeah, I think that's how it works. So we cannot blame only Vietnamese women, although I hate this trend. But again, there's a fault from Korean men too. The other day, I told David last week, I was in a bus. And I saw a guy. I didn't mean to look, but the guy. I usually sit in the back. You can see look down on people's phones sometimes. And there's a guy in his 50s looking at this company, marriage company, Vietnamese marriage company's YouTube channel, like introducing some of the ladies. Like, oh, look at this. This is the ladies we have. Like, please call us. He was looking at it. It was not pop-up ad. He was looking at the channel. And I was like, wow, David and I, we are preparing the shooting about the Vietnamese marriage. There's a guy on the bus. He was really watching it. So I'm going to confess, I stared at him a little bit because it was my topic we're going to talk about. No. I watched him for a while because I wanted to make sure it was not a pop-up ad, but it was a real channel. And it was a proper channel, not the videos I watch. I watched the channel of a detective who tracked down the runaway Vietnamese wives. It's very entertaining. But this guy was not watching anything like that. He was watching the proper channel. And they're introducing nice ladies and what are the options and how much is the fee, blah, blah, blah. That's the video he was watching. I was like, whoa, okay, so this trend is real. Men in Seoul, not just in rural area, the farmers. No, just city. Men in their 50s, they're considering the possibility. I actually had a old coworker when I was in 9 to 5. I still remember the guy, grumpy asshole from HR. So grumpy and rude all the time. He's always having a bad day. He was like 10 years older than me. And later on, I found out he has a Vietnamese wife. Like, okay. Because I was young. He was in his 40s still. So I asked my coworkers, like, what's the reason? Because it was 10 years ago. The international marriage with Vietnamese women was not as common. It was something that this type of news in the office used to stand out. So everyone knew he had a Vietnamese wife. And I was like, but he's not that old yet. Like, because I also had that prejudice about all this. So I asked my my teammates, like, what's the story behind it? And you know what they said? That's his second marriage.
Oh.
That's why he had Vietnamese women, because it's a easier option, more available option. Saying, oh, okay, and a lot of us were like, okay, that makes sense then. So clearly, we all had prejudice too. I don't have that anymore, but again, I do have a different prejudice right now because of this scam. But anyway, what I want to say is that we tend to go on this path, when we feel like we don't have other options, which is why it doesn't work out. If you're really into Vietnamese ladies, and if you love them, and if you love the culture, you have to genuinely like the Vietnamese women. Decent approach, and you will find decent wife. But our approach is often not very decent. You look down on them. You have no other options. That's why these Vietnamese women are the last option. And I have no choice, no other choices. That's why I'm looking at this option. It's not gonna work out like that. You should treat her and speak to her and take this opportunity as the only opportunity you have. This lady is as good as any other Korean women. That's the only approach you will succeed, in my opinion, any relationship. I think one of the problems is that you are older now, in your 50s, late 40s, early 60s. You value yourself, you rank yourself quite low in society. You rank yourself low in dating market, which is why you're considering to marry Vietnamese ladies, which makes you think that these Vietnamese ladies are only options available for the people who are ranked so low in the market. So you look down on them in the beginning of the relationship, and you start a marriage like that. It will never work. It will never work. You have to genuinely love the person. And then there you go. You have a happy marriage. We Korean men should remember that all the time. Every time I shoot something with David, I feel like I generalize a lot. But again, please do not take this in a wrong way. I'm not saying all the international marriage with the Vietnamese wife or husband are bad. And there are good, happily married couple with the Vietnamese ladies. So, but we only focused on the bad cases and scammers. This trend reflects Korean society a lot. So I hope you enjoyed this video and share your thoughts. David and I, we are looking forward to reading them. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.